Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name is Matt Wakeling and thank you so much for joining me. Now today, we're going to talk about a fantastic concert taking place in Sydney, Australia, called Gary Moore Remembered. Great tribute to the late and great rock blues guitarist from Ireland. We're going to talk to Michael Katselos, who is a fantastic guitar player and also the host of this show, which features some of the greatest guitar players working in Australia right now, including Chris Kamzelas and Peter Northcote, who also join us to share their thoughts on Gary Moore's playing and their involvement in this gig. Now, before we get to all that, I need to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by the Michael Dolce Masterclass Tour 2016. We've been working with Michael on promoting this tour, and here's a few words from Michael himself.
Hi guys, this is Michael Dolce inviting you to my 2016 Funk-Fusion Masterclass Tour. To give you a brief rundown of what the night consists of, we get 10 players in a room in a really relaxed atmosphere, nothing too intimidating. We cover soloing over the one-chord vamp. I will be sharing all my concepts that have worked for me over the years and I still use to this very day. The idea is to show you guys these ideas and apply them to your own voice. If you feel that you know how to play a pentatonic scale and a major scale, that's all you really need. If you're interested in attending the class, you can book through my website at www.michaeldolcemusic.com. So look forward to chatting with you all and hopefully catch you at my next masterclass. Cheers for now, guys.
All right, Michael's dates for the classes over October, November are Sydney, 4th of October, Brisbane, 5th of October, Canberra, 18th of October, Dubbo, the 25th and 26th, and other centres with dates to be confirmed are Geelong, Adelaide, Newcastle, Wollongong, Orange, Lithgow, and Perth. So if you are interested in any of those venues, as Michael said, drop him a line through michaeldolcemusic.com. Also, there'll be updates on the Michael Dolce Music Facebook page with all the latest dates. Now, to help promote this run of shows, Michael's put together an amazing promo giveaway that we're helping promote as well. And he's given away some fantastic prizes. Check this out. There's a masterclass ticket, an Evil Angel Trinity pickup, a Mission Rewa pedal, box of GHS strings, a Charles Celia Guitars guitar strap, Michael's own legato lesson package, Everything Till Now, that's his solo album, which is really fantastic, and even some Michael Dolce picks. So to get amongst that, and you really should, look up the Guitar Speak podcast Facebook page. We've got a link with all the details there, and also Michael Dolce Music on Facebook as well as the best spot to get the latest info on the competition. Just note that is for Australian residents only. I know we've got people listening to us around the world. Sorry about that. But you can always move here for the competition. Hey, speaking about Australia, we have got some of Australia's finest guitarists combining for the concert Gary Moore Remembered on October the 6th at the Factory Theatre in Sydney. Check this list out of players who are going to be there. Kevin Borich, Phil Emanuel, Mal Eastick, Randall Waller, Dave Leslie, Chris Kamzelas, Steve Edmonds, Peter Northcote, and Michael Katselos. We caught up with Michael, who's hosting the show and organising it, to find out more about this amazing sounding gig. Michael Katselos, welcome to the Guitar Speak podcast.
Thank you very much. So glad to be here, and thanks for having me.
No, our pleasure. So you're putting together the Gary Moore Remembered tribute coming up in on October the 6th.
Yeah, correct.
Cool. I definitely want to talk about that concert. It looks amazing. But when did you first hear Gary Moore as a guitar player?
That would be back in the mid-'80s. I was just a teenager, just getting started on the instrument, and Gary sort of appeared on a TV show one day. It was just an actual video clip of him. It was a song called Out in the Fields, him with Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. And I knew Phil from Thin Lizzy fame, but I didn't know who this guitar player guy was.
Oh, okay, yep.
And I just saw that and basically went down to my local record store a couple of days later trying to track down who this guy is. And took it from there. Bought an album and went back, and because he had a few albums out previously, but he wasn't too well known in Australia at that time. his stuff was a little bit hard to come by, but ended up ordering stuff in, and just become a fan ever since, and just followed his career right up until today.
Wow, fantastic. So yeah, mid-80s, that's sort of his, I guess, more his heavy rock sort of, metal kind of era, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sort of chunk of from about say 80, probably 82 through to 89 was his the arena rock sort of shred fest, as well as ballads and so forth. But I had no idea of his blues influence. I didn't have any idea of his connection with Thin Lizzy and even his earlier bands like Colosseum 2, which was a sort of an instrumental type fusion band.
Yeah.
I had no idea. You go back and discover that stuff later when you sort of dig deeper into your favourite artist. So I just liked the songs that were out at the time and just that 80s sort of hard rock.
Yeah, sure.
That sort of thing. So that's what sort of led me to it. And there was an era too where that sort of stuff was right at the forefront. A lot of those bands were coming out with Guitar Hero type stuff. It was like a real purple patch for that style of guitar.
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon that was probably about the same time I sort of caught on to Gary Moore as well. We're probably about the same age, Michael, I suspect then, because I was a teenager in the mid-80s as well. And and it's true what you say. So I probably had a similar journey to you. So heard his metal stuff, then the blues, and then eventually realised he was in Thin Lizzy and Colosseum 2. And like you say, really interesting, hey, because Colosseum 2, very fusion rock sort of thing. Then he moved into metal, then a blues thing, and he seemed to be really respected in each of those kind of genres that he pursued.
Well, that's right. That's why even like with Thin Lizzy, they kept getting him back. Because, I mean, I think he just did one album, the Black Rose album, and
that's right.
I'm quite sure he did 2 or 3 tours. And I mean, he bailed on one, and then I mean, he was just the go-to guy at that point. So and then he had an album called G-Force, which was some of the best sort of AOR rock sort of songs I've heard. Really catchy stuff. I don't know if anyone's ever heard those songs, but it's an album that's worth checking out. It is quite expensive. I've been looking for it on CD on eBay, and it's up around $100, $150. It's quite rare. So I'd say this one little backyard company's probably got the rights to it and put it out. Probably press 50 copies, and that's it. So it's quite rare. But I do have it on cassette. So
cool.
I can still go back to it if I want to.
Very cool. That's awesome. So when you listened to him, Michael, what did you hear in his playing that kind of drew you to him?
Yeah, when I heard that Out in the Field song, because it's got that listening solo in it, right around that time, a home video came out called Emerald Isles, which basically just went through his career. And I don't know if you've seen that video, but there was a guy kind of interviewing him. He's walking around town showing where he's from, his roots. And he was just a street guy that was, at that time when all those bands were coming out, they all started wearing the makeup. And I mean, I'm a big Kiss fan, but your Motley Crue, Rat, and all their big hair. And I bet Gary just wore jeans, man. And and it's just like a real, just his roots were just so genuine, and taught himself how to play, and just that story that's attached to that video. And then it kind of chronologically goes through where he goes back home for the first time in so many years and plays a few shows there. And it was just the rawness of it. There was no smoke and mirrors, so to speak. So it was just what you saw is what you got, it came out in the music. It was like his style, because he, like I said, he could shred, and then he could just play 1 or 2 notes that were just like even as special as the fast ones. That's kind of unique in a player.
Yeah, cool. So has any of that stuff influenced your own playing, do you think?
Oh yeah, all the time. I've been playing guitar now for probably 33 years, something like that. I started when I was 11, and I'd sit down and learn riffs of all my sort of favourite players, but I'd never sort of try and copy them to the point where that's going to become my own style. So there's always little snippets of stuff, and even especially now once you started into the blues stuff, every now and then I listen back to things for stuff. I think, there's something probably Gary Moore would have done, but it's just little snippets, and there's lots of different styles in my playing from a lot of different players from way back. I mean, I listen to everyone, so I'm a fan of anyone from Mark Knopfler to Yngwie Malmsteen. It's just Tommy Emmanuel, whatever. So it rubs off, but it wasn't intentional, but it has to, I guess. So if you listen to someone for an extended period of time over a lot of years, and it's going to have to rub off somewhere, little bits and pieces anyway. For sure.
So when did the idea for a tribute concert come to you?
Well, I started a new venture. It's a touring company called Stormfront Touring, and I started looking. I had experience in the promoting and the touring game back in the mid 2000s. I had another company which I brought Toto out here for a couple of shows.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. Actually 2 tours, 2 shows the first tour, 5 shows the second tour.
Wow.
A band called Fozzy, ESP, which is Eric Singer Project, which was Eric Singer from Kiss and Bruce Kelly from Kiss, John
drummer,
Corabi.
hey?
So
yeah,
and I really liked it. I mean, it's just something you kind of fade off in the distance for a while because, I mean, financially it can be quite. Well, that's pretty much what it comes down to in the end. It's all money and dollars,
sure.
to bring these acts out, and had a few other guys come in, Dillinger Escape Plan and Halloween, if you're familiar with those bands.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got out of it for a few years, family commitments, and I just got really busy with music. It's just, I mean, it was just circumstances that sort of prevailed that I got out of it. And then I just got the bug again and wanted to do it full time. So I started the company, started negotiating again with a couple of other overseas acts, but it kind of falls flat because once again it comes down to dollars and cents.
Yeah, sure.
And scheduling, and there's so many things. I mean, a lot of these tours, I don't know if people realise they're planned a year ahead, even longer.
Yeah,
it's not something like, we're just going to go here, and it's just a lot of planning, and that's just for the small bands. Even just playing gigs like at the Metro, or so. I know bands like Iron Maiden, they plan a couple of years ahead.
Yeah,
it's remarkable. But then I thought, we got an awesome amount of talent here in Australia, so why reach overseas? It eliminates a lot of the costs because of with tax and purposes, and flights and visas and all these hidden costs that people don't realise they go into just to bring a 4 or 5 piece band, and then plus you bring out another 5 people because they want crew, and it just gets the costs escalate. So I thought, let's just keep it local.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I thought it just basically just light bulb popped in my head. I did see a tribute. There was a Jimi Hendrix one that was done a couple of years ago, a Clapton one, and I kind of watched some YouTube footage and so forth, and I thought, that'd be a really cool thing to do, and just started racking my brain who I could play tribute to, and I thought, why not just for me, why not pick my favourite, which is Gary Moore, and he passed away, and no one had really done anything in this country to pay tribute to him, and just. Had a little bit of a short list of people and sketched it out. It took a couple of months for me to actually, push myself to the point where I'm going to start making calls, because once you start doing that, then the ball's rolling and then you're in then. So there's no turning back. And that's how it came about.
Excellent. Man, you've got some fantastic Australian guitar players. Can we go through the list of guys you were able to pull together?
Yeah, definitely. You want me to start, or?
Sure,
them off? Yeah. Well, Dave Leslie, I know personally from, we have an amp endorsement with MI Audio, which are based in Sydney.
Yeah.
And I bumped into Dave a couple of times at the warehouse, and when he plays, Baby Animals usually down here maybe once, twice a year.
Yeah.
Him along playing some of the gigs either at Waves and Taraji, and I usually hang around and I'll give him a call around sound check. And we kind of, we're not best mates or anything like that, but we know each other, and and so he was the guy I called first. I was like, I'll give Dave a ring and see what he thinks. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm in. That sounds great. You ready? And he goes, can I put my hand up for, I won't give the tunes away, but
that's cool.
I think he's already done that on Facebook anyway. But he goes, I want to do this and that. And I went, all right. Okay. He kind of caught me off guard. And I didn't expect such a quick answer. And so Dave was like, yeah, man, just let me know when it all comes together, and I'm in. And after that, I was lucky enough that within the space of around 3 weeks, I had Kevin Borich, Peter Northcote, and Steve Edmonds play in Wollongong.
Oh, okay.
Or thereabouts. So I literally just went in front of them. Hi, this is what I do, this is what I'm looking at putting together. And they were just super keen. Yep, here's my details.
Brilliant.
And Chris Kamzelas, I've known for many years we did a competition together called the Rebel Yell Guitar Challenge, which went from 1990 to 92. So I think it was 3 years that ran.
Yep.
Yeah, it was sponsored by Ibanez and Rebel Yell, Bourbon, and Hot Licks and a couple of other companies. So Chris and I were in that and did quite well. And I always bump into him at gigs. There's always a guitar gig at the M Mall or somewhere like that. So Triani or Ingve, he's there. And we bump into each other and have a chat. And
awesome.
So, and I've got high regard for him in the way that he's done really well, and he's playing millions of gigs and big shows with all the best artists. And I thought Chris would be great. Plus, I just like his guitar playing. I think
Yeah, he's
really
fantastic.
tasteful,
He's very
and I
cool.
could see him doing. Yeah, because I wanted to cover. But that's another episode with trying to cover era of Gary Moore songs without leaving out any particular tunes and
Sure.
not making it like a 6-hour show. So
Yeah.
I knew Chris would suit either way, the rock style or the blues style. So it turns out he's doing one song of each. So
Okay. Cool.
yeah, and who have I left out? Well,
I think-
Randall Waller was recommended. I knew Randall from obviously. I actually met Randall. He was in one of the house bands for the Real World Guitar Challenge many years ago.
He was. I remember that well, actually. I was in that as well. Where did
Oh,
you
really?
play? Yeah, I was at Pennant Hills at whatever it was called then. Patrick's.
Well, I played down here at Wollongong. I did the Shalaba Workers heat.
Oh, yeah.
And I won that. And then I
brilliant.
went through, and then the semi-final was at, I think the place was called The Venue in Pittwater Road up in Manly there.
Oh,
Or
okay,
DY,
cool.
sorry, DY. And I think it was 20 guitarists, and the top 10 or 12 went through.
Awesome.
So in no particular order, and I got through that. And then we did the grand final at Salinas.
Great, man. That's
And
cool.
there was because I went in the first year I went in, I didn't get past Shalaba Workers. I mean, I was only 17. I told them I was 18, but I was only 17. But
Yeah.
it was just good to be able to play a big sort of big venue through a big PA as a 7-year-old kid
That's
instead of a
cool,
little
man.
practice amp at home.
Yeah, unreal, man. So Randall was in the house band. I think they were called Six String Salute, and yeah,
That's right.
they were unbelievable. Dave Holmes was like, I think, the MD, who's just a brilliant player, and Randall up front playing and singing. Yeah. So you got onto Randall. Cool.
Yep. And Mal Eastick. Mal, I just come across him. I just thought, well, once you start mentioning Kevin Borich and those guys,
Yeah,
automatically just start popping into your head. Phil Emmanuel, Mal Eastick. Also, having a look at the guys that played on these other tributes.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was good to have a couple of the guys, or maybe a good chunk of the guys that had done that sort of setup before, because having, 8 or 9 guitar players at the one show, and, you're looking at, from a logistical point of view, could be a train wreck or could be really good.
Absolutely.
So you didn't want any guys in there that are kind of green to it, or have, like the whole lineup thinking, okay, they're not sure how it's going to work. They get it. They understand it's 2 songs and a big jam at the end. And
Cool.
they actually been helping me out, saying, well, these are a couple of things you might want to steer away from, and just from past experiences. So they've been guiding me along the way, especially Mal. Mal's been really good. I've had some long phone conversations with him, and he's given me some good pointers on what to do and what not to do.
Awesome.
But even just say, let me do what I want to do, but just say, just take this on board, And I was like, yeah, thank you very much. And just structuring the set, and it's just things that can easily go sort of pear-shaped if you're not prepared on the night. So, and then Phil Emmanuel. Phil's another one. Like I said, I'm probably the greatest guitar show I've seen. I've probably been to hundreds of gigs. It was probably Phil and Tom Emmanuel together.
Okay, yeah.
It was just one of those gigs where you just walk out going, yeah, I think I might just not bother playing anymore. that'll do me. Like, it was ridiculously good, where you're almost laughing through the songs, because it's that great that it's it's beyond beyond brilliant. So that gig stayed with me for years, and I still think about that gig every now and then. It's probably one of the millions of gigs those guys have done. They probably wouldn't even remember it, but as a guy that was around, I think I just turned 18 or 19, was able to go into the clubs and watch them two play. It was just astounding, and I followed Phil ever since. So I definitely wanted him on there, because I know he's a Gary Moore fan, and I knew he'd suit the songs that he picked. Well, he picked the songs, but I did throw suggestions out there, and he's been really good. So I'm really looking forward. He hasn't come into rehearsal yet. He will come in actually the night before.
Yeah, right.
Because state guys are going to come in the night before.
Yeah,
due to once again, it's going to cost and logistics, and it's just the way it is. But they're all seasoned campaigners. They're like, yeah, mate, no worries, I'll be there. We'll knock it off, and let's make it happen.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Mate, yeah, fantastic players. Each and every one of them, man. That's unreal. How's the house band? Who've you got? I assume you've got like a set rhythm section for the night.
Yeah. Got three-piece house band, and then with 2 vocalists. So on drums, I've got Tony Boyd. And
Boydie.
Yeah, he's played with Mal I think he played with Mal for 7 years. I think he's played with all these cats for somewhere along the line, whether it's been a fill-in or a tour or an album. But they've all crossed paths.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah, and obviously I've got Greg Griffith on bass, and I just met Greg. I filled in for a couple of bands in Sydney, and And there was actually 2 gigs in particular where he was a fill-in. So we're both fill-ins on the night. So we're kind of just looking at each other, having a grin all the way through the show, thinking, oh, when we got out of the gig, great. There was no train wrecks. And it was like,
awesome.
And I just got on with him. I think a lot of it's got to do with just getting on with people too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, obviously they can play. And, you know, he just stuck in my mind. And after, I think it might have been a 3rd or 4th gig. We've done 3 or 4 together in the last 12 months. And I know he was doing the blues thing, and I think playing actually the blues stuff, especially like even getting Tony on board as well. I mean, I think people probably don't realise it's a lot more difficult than just playing the straight ahead rock stuff, just to get the feel.
Sure.
And a lot of that stuff is, you might think, it's 12-bar blues and how hard can it be, but believe me, to get it sounding how authentic and as tight as possible, you want those guys to be able to play that stuff like it's just, water for ducks back. And Tony and him, and Tony and Griff have played together before, and they're good mates, so that helps. We spend most rehearsals just cracking jokes, having a laugh, and those 2 guys.
Absolutely, I know there's 2 blokes, especially Griff. I've known for a long time, and they're fantastic musicians, but they are so funny.
I said these 2 guys should be the support act. You could do sort of a comedy routine, like do some stand up for half an hour.
Give them 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and my keyboard player, Borch Todorowski, I've known Borch since probably year 2000, I think maybe 99, 2000.
Okay, yep.
And I played with him, I don't know how many gigs, probably I've done a couple of 100 gigs with him over the years. And he's just a really good mate, and he's just one of those guys that he takes his time. I mean, obviously being a great player, but finding all the sounds and putting the time and effort in, and just understanding what had to be done, and just pulling it all together. And like I said, we get on well as well. And he knows Greg as well. They've crossed paths as well in the same sort of Sydney band. So we all knew each other, and I thought, well, apart from Tony, who I hadn't met before, but Greg introduced me to him. He said, mate, this is the guy for it. He came in and just smashed it. And it was that good. The first rehearsal with Tony was like, we could have probably even done the gig, with a couple of little funky moments that probably people wouldn't have picked anyway. But
awesome.
Yeah, so it's been going strong, and starting to bring in the singers now. I've got 2 lead singers. Because I'm playing on the show, and there's a couple other guys that just don't sing, so we need a lead vocalist. And Pete Northcote happened to recommend a couple of really good ones, so I got Mark DaCosta in.
Oh yeah.
Who, he did Australian Idol and a whole bunch of other things, and Mark's been really good.
He's one of the great rock singers in Australia, I reckon. Yeah,
and another guy too came in and just a really good vibe about him, and you feel like you jam with these guys for 20 minutes, half an hour, and it feels like you're in an actual band already, and you've already done a bunch of shows together. There's no no rough edges. It's just smooth sailing from the get-go. So then it's just a matter of tightening things up. And then Virginia Lilia as well, that plays pretty much with... I thought, why not get a female vocalist? And the inspiration for that was there's a metal band called Nightwish, and they do a version of Gary Moore's Over the Hills and Far Away.
Okay.
And it just sounds amazing. And they've got a female singer. So it's a female rock voice doing a Gary Moore song. And I remember the first time I heard it, I thought, wow, what an awesome take on that. So that came to mind straight away. And once I sort of sifted through the set list and work out which songs each Mark and Virginia would sing, I thought it was a perfect fit. And even the guys, she's singing with Mal, and she's singing with, I think, Dave Leslie as well. Mm-hmm. And
cool.
I can't remember off the top of my head, so many songs in my head. I thought, great fit. So I gave her a call and got her to have a listen to the tunes, and she loved them, and so she's on board as well. So
brilliant.
2 singers, keyboard, bass, and drums, and then bring in each individual guitarist, and that'll be the setup.
Great, man. Are there any of the guitar players singing? Like Randall's an absolute killer vocalist, for example.
Yeah, we rehearsed at Randall last night. He's singing both his tunes.
Excellent.
And he's doing a Thin Lizzy song. I won't mention which one, but he's doing a Thin Lizzy song. Actually, I'm playing that one with him because all the Thin Lizzy stuff is twin guitars, most of it. All those harmony parts. So it sounded really good last night. So, Chris Kamzelas is singing. Yep. Kevin Borich is singing, and Steve Edmonds. Singing. And Pete Northcote. Yeah, okay. So it would just be me, Dave, Mal, and Phil. There'd be 4 guys not singing. So had to bring in some lead vocalists. So I actually saw Virginia sing about a month ago. Well, that time when I said that Pete Northcote came down to Wollongong, she was singing with him. I just thought, oh wow, like she's just got an amazing set of pipes on her, and she seemed really cool as well. All these guys, that's the thing I found. It's just a really cool vibe with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great.
There's no ego. There's no like, I want to do so, I want to do that. And even with the song selection, I just let them pick what songs they wanted to do.
Yep.
I don't know if you could ask me that question, but yeah, the songs basically, because you've got such a ridiculous catalogue. You've got around probably 20 odd albums to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the trouble of not leaving key songs out.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I'm on the gig, because obviously because I'm putting it on and I'd love to play with these guys, but there were songs that weren't picked that had to be played.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't want to sort of force guys to play songs they weren't comfortable with, and
Sure.
I just kind of let everyone pick their tunes. And then if I got a message or an email or a call off a particular guy that said, "Oh, I'm doing this song," I let all the other guys know pretty much straight off the bat that song's been taken. It's off the list. So you haven't chosen your songs yet. Skip it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that worked out really good. And it just got down to about maybe 3 songs that I thought definitely needed to be played, and so I'm taking those on board. So
great, man.
it's going to be a good set list all the way from Thin Lizzy right up to probably mid 2000s, covering everything. So yeah.
Awesome, man. So this is on. Can you give us the date and the venue?
The venue is the Factory Theatre, Victoria Road in Marrickville. Great little venue. It's on October 6th. It's a Thursday night. Initially, like I said, try to get it over a weekend, but these guys are so busy. It's their bread and butter, and it's hard to get 8 players, or even myself, 9 players nailed down. And actually, the main reason I did it on the Thursday night is because a lot of musos want to come and see this show, and they're working on Friday, Saturdays. The first thing they do when anything goes on sale, guess what's coming to town? The first thing they do, and I do the same, what night of the week's it on?
Yeah.
And if you say, it's a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, well, you think, oh, great, I'll most likely be able to go to that.
Yeah.
As soon as you mention Friday, Saturday, it's like, okay, I'll check my diary. No, sorry, I'm booked at whatever.
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
it becomes a drama. So it's to help, because, Gary's he's not a bigger household name as, say, Eric Clapton or, Jimi Hendrix, but musos, I think, meaning guitar players, he's the type of guy that they know, and I felt that you probably have a lot of guys not being able to go because they've got gigs on weekends, so I've made it a Thursday night. So I had a couple of comments on Facebook, it's a school night. And think, okay, so you have one late night and go to school tired. I've done my life.
Exactly. It's actually school holidays in New South Wales too for any people, if it's literally a school night for anyone.
Oh, that worked out good. No, I don't comment back on that stuff. It's,
yeah.
You get 3 or 4 negative comments out of 100. So, I mean, each to their own. So, fair enough, everyone's entitled to opinion. So, but hopefully we get a few there. The ticket sales are going well.
Yeah, great.
It's not sold out, but it's there's still tickets available. So I think there might be, I don't know how many tickets exactly, but I get updates every couple of days, and so it's starting to wind down. But if people want to get tickets, they can just go to the Factory Theatre website. The Ticketek allocation sold out, so don't go to Ticketek, even though the advertisement says that. People are coming back to me and saying it's telling me it's sold out. It's not. Just go to the Factory Theatre website, and then just scroll down. You'll see the Gary Moore, the Les Paul advertising, and you can go in there and grab your tickets. $69. I think it's pretty good value for a 3-hour show with the who's who of Australian guitar talent.
Absolutely.
As well as great singers and musos. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. Well, Michael, that's brilliant. Have obviously this is in the forefront of your mind. If this goes well, I mean, it sounds like it already has gone brilliantly. Are there any plans for any other, perhaps similar shows coming up?
You mean Gary Moore related, or?
Yeah, or any other kind of sort of guitar based.
Yeah, well, I'm throwing ideas around. I've been bouncing them off the guys, and even the fact that someone brought, I think it was Peter Northcote, brought to my attention, he goes, even to have one with like celebrating a couple of different guitar players. Mm-hmm. So instead of just sticking it to the one theme all night, so that's something you could I could throw out there. The mind's always, like I said, this thing's up and running now, and I'm getting it starting to get to the business end. So I'm already throwing ideas around, but there'll be more under the Stormfront touring banner. I'm actually talking to 2 overseas acts as well, guitar bass, which can't disclose yet, but
sure.
They'll be really definitely 2017. Just trying to find a window opportunity because they're so busy as well.
Okay.
So plenty of things to look forward to, definitely.
Great, mate. Well, Michael, all the very best for the show. It looks absolutely fantastic. As you mentioned, it's definitely some of the greatest guitar players working in Australia right now, for sure, and paying tribute to an amazing guitar player. A guitar player's guitar player, I'd say, Gary Moore. So, Michael, all the best for the show. And, definitely, if you're in the Sydney area, if you can get there October the 6th, make sure, listeners, check out the Factory Theatre for your tickets. And, it seems like a great thing.
There'll be tickets available at the door. Tickets available at the door as well. So hopefully, if it's not sold out, so you can get tickets on the night if you're still umming and ahhing about it. So if you last minute change your mind, just rock up, man. We'll get you in.
Fantastic. Well, mate, thanks so much, Michael. Great to meet you. And thanks for being on the Guitar Speak podcast.
No problem. My pleasure.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
So there you go. That's the multi-talented, multitasking Michael Katselos. Great guitar player, but also organising the gig and promoting it. And he obviously has the runs on the board, bringing bands like Toto to Australia. So, this gig looks to be fantastic. So, as I mentioned at the start of the show, I got to also talk to two of the other featured guitarists, Chris Kamzelas and our old friend Peter Northcote. So when I spoke to Chris, I started off by asking him if he'd listened to much Gary Moore as he was growing up.
Yeah, I did, actually. More the 80s Gary Moore. Like, I did get into the blues side of when he really still got the blues, but my the album that I really wore out was the Run for Cover album.
Okay, yep.
Where he had collaborations with Glenn Hughes and Phil in it. And, I don't know if you remember Out in the Fields. There was a track called Out in the Fields, which was playing on... I saw it on, I think it was music video back in the 80s.
Okay, yep.
You know, and there's this classic scene where they put a camera at the end of the headstock and it looks down the neck when Gary's playing.
Oh, awesome.
And that was like, you know, seeing that, you're like, oh my God, real inspirational.
That's
cool. Up to play.
Very cool. So that's funny. Michael Katselos was saying the same thing. That was the song that grabbed his attention as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was huge at the time.
Cool, man. And that's, when you say 80s, that was more his hard rock sort of metal
kind
of period.
It was more the rock stuff, you know, and he was burning. And you could still hear at that time, you could hear that blues phrasing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, he had that going on always, but he was just it was like he was on... just wanted to rip your head off. That's what I loved about him too, you know.
Yep.
It's like head first, you know. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you have you brought any of that kind of influence into your own playing?
I guess it's there a little bit, but recently, since this show's come up, I've gone back to listening to that particular album.
Mm-hmm.
And it has done something. Re-listening has, you know, it's inspired me to look at the way I play. You know, just the intent behind. You know, just like I said before, he didn't sort of. When Gary was on stage, it was just basically you're going to get him just smashing your face in, you know?
Uh-huh,
and, like, he didn't sort of, what's the word? He didn't sway from his thing, you know? He was very confident, and I think that's what I'm picking up from hearing it again, you know?
Yeah, cool.
It just gives you, a bit of a kick, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, but 100% conviction and just goes at it.
You know, but all the greats are like that. Like they're you know, on their own road. They don't sway. They're not, you know. I can't find the word, but they just do their thing, you know, and they don't really worry about what everyone else is doing, or you know, if there's critics and that, they don't change what they do. They just, I think that's what makes them so great, you know.
Yeah.
Like Gary, like all of them, Steve Vai and Yngwie Malmsteen and Eddie Van Halen, you know, they're pretty stubborn players, you know. That's what makes them great, you know. They're on their own path.
Yeah, cool. That's a really cool way to look at it, definitely.
Mm.
And so how'd you come to get involved in this gig with that Michael's putting together?
I met Michael when I was about I was 17 actually.
Okay.
This is a funny story actually because there was back then that they had this guitar competition, Australia-wide guitar comp that happened, the Rebel Yell Guitar Challenge.
Yeah. Michael mentioned that.
And I met him. We were both in the final.
Oh,
you know?
awesome.
And it got televised, and so that's where I first met Michael.
Cool.
And he was a Gary Moore fan from back then. Like I remember him. He at the final, his choice of song was "Once in a Lifetime."
Okay.
And that was from that Run for Cover album.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty cool.
Nice, man. What was your song? What did you choose?
I did I tried to do something everyone knew at the time. It was a Noiseworks song.
Yep.
Called Simple Man. So,
Okay,
and I just opened it up a little bit in the middle for a solo.
Ah, cool, man. Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. I was right into the Australian music scene too,
Yeah, cool.
at that time, everything that was going on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's how you met Michael. That's great. And
Yeah.
And how about for this gig then? So I guess if you got that connection, you're one of the guys.
Yeah, I guess he thought of me. Yeah, from that connection, really.
Yeah, awesome.
And from that, and like I've always been doing things along the way that people might know me for, like the TV stuff.
Yeah.
The Idol stuff, The Voice, and Richard Clapton. Like Richard Clapton was a huge thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tino Arena gig, I was with her for years.
Yeah, unreal. And you're just telling me actually off air that you were tracking some new Shannon Knoll stuff today.
Yeah, so I just came out of the studio and just put some guitars down for a new tune. They're doing a rock version of one of his songs.
Great.
A new song that's about to come out, so I put down guitars for that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's so many great guitar players on this gig, some of Australia's greatest rock and blues players, including yourself. Now, I know Michael wants to keep the songs a bit of a surprise as to who's playing what, so I won't press you for song names or anything, but when the gig came up, did you have any songs? Did you try and grab any songs?
I had. I as soon as it came up, I mentioned one song that's going to be played on the night that I can't say what it is. But Dave Leslie took it first.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, God, and it's a killer tune that you'll see Dave play.
Yeah, awesome.
On the night. But I ended
He'll
up...
probably go okay.
Yeah,
he'll probably do it all right. Whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm a massive fan of Dave's anyway,
Yeah, cool.
from the Baby Animals,
Yeah, awesome.
But, my thing, I've got one coming from his rock era and one of the blues ones too.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
So,
and
it's going to be fun. And I'm also, I'm going to try, I'm going to sing them too. I'm going to sing my own performances.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we've heard that you sing on this gig, so that's cool. Very nice.
Yeah, one of the tunes is scary. I've got to be in shape for it.
Okay.
The full-on rock-out tune that I'm going to do is Gary sings really high in it, and it's it's just sort of, you got to be hydrated and...
Yeah, right.
It's a bit scary. So hopefully I don't start splatting all over the place vocally.
I reckon you'll smash it. Now, cool, man. Hey, we won't keep much longer then. We really appreciate your time. We know you've been sessioning and you're trying to grab some lunch now, so I do appreciate it. And you're, but you and I, we've been chatting online at least about having you on the show when you, I think you've got some solo stuff you're putting together. How's all that stuff going?
It's towards the end of mixing.
Yep. Cool.
I've just got to get my mate back in the studio who's helping me produce it.
Okay, cool.
So we just got to finish the last track mixing and then get it out there,
Yeah,
just
right.
put it out. So
yeah, cool.
But it's pretty much rock, like melodic rock with some big guitar solos here and there.
Awesome. Awesome.
I had to put in some of that,
Yeah, for sure.
For
sure.
With my background.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's great. So,
Yeah.
so we're looking forward to getting you back on the podcast, and we'll talk about all your stuff
Me too, mate.
Yeah.
I look forward to it too.
Cheers, man. But hey, thanks for chatting to us today. And yeah, we definitely look forward to meeting up at the gig and hearing your stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chris.
And see you on the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Matt.
Cheers. All right, I'm here with Peter Northcote, who is also on the Gary Moore Remembered gig. How you doing, Peter?
Pretty good, thank you, mate. Just changing pickups in my Les Paul Custom as we speak. So I'm doing. Who says men can't multitask?
That's awesome. Don't burn yourself with that solder. Hey, nice.
No, that's all right. I'll get to that later.
Cool. Now, is the Les Paul, is this custom? Is this your new one? Did you get a new?
So I've got a couple of new ones lately. I got a white one, which is what I'm playing with at the moment. I've just had it refretted by Frank Rabisa.
Awesome. Yep.
So I'm, changing pickups and doing all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to play around with some ideas at the moment. But yeah,
nice. Good stuff, man. Always good. It's always good to follow your ever-growing guitar collection. Hey,
well, I counted 67 the other day.
Wow. Well, when we spoke to you back in the interview we did with you a couple of months ago, I think we're up to 60. So that's good. That's good growth.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah, it's good. Slow but steady. You know. These are the wonders. These are the wonders of not being married or having children.
There you go, man. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're on this Gary Moore gig. Did you listen to much Gary Moore back in the day?
To be honest with you, no. The answer is simply no.
Uh-huh.
I never, when Gary Moore was big, I guess I was getting more into Frank Zappa and, some other things, Genesis and Yes and all that sort of stuff. And I think that, it's really interesting checking out what he did now at this stage of my life because it's, he has a distinct technique. Mm-hmm. And it's been interesting. I've been trying to not so much learn the licks, but at least do justice to what he's done.
Yeah, right.
And it's interesting because I'm playing Parisian Walkways. I don't know if you know that, but it's like Still Got the Blues, basically.
It's very similar. Yes.
Very similar. And so what I'm doing is, I've checked out the way he plays it online.
Yeah.
And he plays in a certain position, or a certain bunch of positions in a certain places. But I've just gone, look, that's not the way I play. So I've just figured it out the best way that I've figured out. And I seem to kind of try and see where the chords are, and my little positions within those chord shapes. So he's a bit more linear, whereas I'm kind of in more positions rather than, working on just one string.
Okay, yeah.
So it's interesting doing that sort of stuff, getting an idea of how he played things.
Yeah, cool.
And then, by the same token, I'm not gonna recreate exactly what he did. I'm not gonna learn every lick because that's just not what I do.
Yeah,
and I think that that's what is required for a gig like this, is to be able to play. Peter Northcote does. And everybody else does Gary Moore. That's it,
Absolutely.
So.
Well, man, there's so many great guitar players on the gig. If you just wanted to hear the songs note for note, you'd get one guy who had spent his life playing that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
That's right.
So, looks awesome. Actually, you know what? I think we've let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I think Michael's trying to keep it under wraps. Who's playing what? But it's too late now because you've told me one song. So.
That's all
Don't
right.
tell me the other one.
All right. I won't tell you that I'm doing... no, I won't tell you. All right.
I'd be happy to, but, awesome, man. Hey, what guitar are you going to use for this? Because
Well, I'm not sure. I'm going to take a couple along. I'll obviously use Les Pauls.
Yeah.
And I've got the custom, and I've got a really... One of my favourite Les Paul... I think I've got... What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I'm looking around the room, 6. I've got about 7 or 8 Les Pauls, and I think that I'm going to use I've got a 2005, I think it is, what they call a faded series.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's chambered a bit, and that's just a great. And I use that on the Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd,
Okay. Yep.
Deep Purple show that I do.
Yep.
And That really is a great guitar. So I'll probably use that.
Yep.
And if I use something else, I'll either use my black Les Paul Custom or my white Les Paul Custom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, and I guess I'll do that. I'll figure that out on the day. I might use the one guitar. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Cool. And you're singing as well?
Yeah, bad luck, eh?
I don't think so.
Well, the one song that I'm doing, there's not many lyrics in it, and then there's another one that has a lot more lyrics in it. But yeah, I'll see how I go. I'm pretty rotten at learning lyrics too. You know, I struggle with that. And I can see the old iPad coming out. I mean, I'm going to try and learn them so that I don't have to read. But it's difficult, you know. I have enough problems playing guitar, let alone trying to sing and remember lyrics, you know.
I reckon you do okay, but yeah, fair enough.
Thanks.
Cool, man. And so the backing band, we've got Boydie and Griff. I don't know if you know those guys in the rhythm section. And
is that Steve Boyd?
Tony Boyd.
Tony Boyd. Oh yeah, I love Tony. He's amazing.
Awesome.
Oh, this is good because I don't even know who's playing in the band.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I can tell you. Yeah, Griff's on bass. Greg Griffiths.
Yeah, great.
Who's awesome, a lot of fun and really great player.
Yeah.
And keys, I think it's Borsch, I think Michael was saying today.
Right.
So
on keys.
Yeah, and a couple of singers which you know, Mark DaCosta and is it Virginia on vocals too? I think.
Virginia Lilly, yeah. Well, Michael asked me who to get, and I said just get these guys.
Yeah, awesome.
You know, they are the best.
They're great. I was saying to, I mean, there's so many great rock singers, but I was saying, Mark DaCosta is one of the best rock guys in Australia, I'd say.
Oh yeah, he's amazing, man. I love him.
And I haven't heard heaps of Virginia, although I know she works with you a lot. But what I've heard, she's unreal as well.
Oh, she's a freak.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, it should be an amazing gig. Thanks for chatting to us about it. You're one of our favourite past guests on the show here. So
good on you, mate. Yeah, no, it's going to be a great night. I don't know whether it's sold out or not, but it's been sold pretty well.
Yeah, Michael was saying there's a few tickets left. So yeah, we're definitely encouraging anyone in Sydney to get down there. But yeah, it's done really well, which is awesome. Yeah. It says a lot about the guitar community and
absolutely, yeah,
the lead up to it.
Yeah, good on you, Matt.
Well, thank you.
Well, you know, there's I don't know what else I can tell you because I can't tell you the names of the songs.
It's awkward,
it is a secret.
It's awkward now.
But all the players are going to be great as always.
Absolutely, you know? Yeah. Should be cool.
Will we see you down there?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm planning to get there. So
good.
I'm looking forward to it very, very much.
Good on you, mate.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for chatting and
my
good luck
pleasure.
With soldering.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just about to start.
Yeah, nice.
I've been doing a bunch of live Facebook feeds lately.
Yeah, I've seen.
And they're doing really well. So people want to hook up with me on my Facebook site. Please do, and I'll start doing some more regular. At least I do at least one a week. So
excellent.
Good on you, mate.
Good on you, man. All right. Well, we'll chat again soon. Hey.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, mate.
See you, buddy.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right, Gary Moore remembered at the Factory Theatre in Marrickville in Sydney, Australia, October the 6th, 2016. There are still some tickets, and to get those, go direct to the Factory Theatre. Don't go to Ticket Tech, but just to the Factory, and they'll hook you up there. My thanks to Michael Katselos, Chris Kamzelas, Peter Northcote, and Michael Dolce for today's episode. Now remember to check out our competition with Michael Dolce at Guitar Speak Podcast on Facebook or Michael Dolce Music on Facebook. You'll find all the details at both of those places. Alright, so remember you can get plenty more Guitar Speak Podcast. You can dig through our back episodes with artists like Bob Spencer, who was in the Angels and Skyhooks doing solo work now. Gretchen Menn, spoke to her last week. She's a fantastic guitar player, so good. Sarah Lipstate, Novella, the ambient noise maker. She's cool. We had a good interview with her. Brett Kingman, proguitar.com, and he's got his own amazing page. Tours with James Rain all the time. So many good players and so many more interviews besides those as well. So yeah, dig into our back episodes. You can find us on iTunes or Stitcher or guitarspeakpodcast.libsyn.com. That's like our home sort of page. We're also on, as I've already mentioned, Facebook and the Instagrams. So like us, follow us, subscribe to us, whatever you need to do to keep up to date with all the happenings here. And hey, if you're enjoying the episodes, please share them around your own social networks. That's really helpful for us getting the episodes out there and the word out. All right, well, hey, thanks again for joining us. Again, it's a great thrill to present these interviews to you and know that people all around the world are tuning in. So yeah, have a great day. Go play some guitar. And until next time, my name's Matt Wakeling, and this is the Guitar Speak Podcast. Bye now.